ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our daily glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are reading from Canto 2, Chapter 6, Puruṣa-sūkta confirmed, and we will discuss verse 34. So, SP 2.6.3, 2.6.34. न भारती में गमृषोभलभ्यते न वे क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषागति न मे ऋषिकायानि पत्यन्तसत्पथे यन्मे हृदत्कोण्ठ्यत्वता धृतो हरि न भारती मे गमृषो भलक्ष्यते न वे क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषागति न मे ऋषिकाणि पतन्त्यसत्पथे यन्मे हृदोत्कण्ठ्यवता धृतो हरि न भारती मे वृषोपलक्ष्यते न वे क्वचिन्मे मनसो मृषागति न मे ऋषिकाणि पतन्त्यसत्पथे यन्मे हृदत्कोण्ठ्यत्वता धृतो हरि. Synonyms and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Synonyms: Na, never. Bharati, statements. May, mine. Anga, Narada. Vrisha, untruth. Upalakshate, prove to be. Na, never. Why, certainly. Kvachit, at any time. Me, mine. Manasaha, of the mind. Vrisha, untruth. Gatihi, progress. Na, nor. Me, mind. Rishikani, senses. Patanti, degrades. Asatpate, in the temporary matter. Yat, because. Me, mind. Rida, heart. Otkantya vata, by great earnestness. Dhritaha, caught hold of. Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation: O Narad, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, with great zeal, whatever I has never proved to be whatever I say has never proved to be false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deterred, nor my senses are ever degraded by the temporary attachment of matter. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I can.
Sure, Mataji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma is the original speaker of Vedic wisdom to Narada, and Narada is the distributor of transcendental knowledge all over the world through his various disciples like Vyasdev and others. The followers of Vedic wisdom accept the statements of Brahmaji as gospel truth, and transcendental knowledge is thus being distributed all over the world by the process of disciplic succession from time immemorial since the beginning of the creation. Lord Brahma is the perfect liberated living being within the material world, and any sincere student of transcendental knowledge must accept the words and statements of Brahmaji as infallible. The Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down directly from the Supreme Lord unto the heart of Brahma, and since he is the most perfect living being, Brahmaji is always correct to the letter. And this is because Lord Brahma is a great devotee of the Lord who has earnestly accepted the lotus feet of the Lord as the supreme truth. In the Brahma Samhita, which is compiled by Brahmaji, he repeats the aphorism Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. I am a worshipper of the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, the primeval Lord. So, whatever he says, whatever he thinks, and whatever he does, normally in his mood, are to be accepted as truth because of his direct and very intimate connection with Govinda, the primeval Lord, the primeval Lord. Sri Govinda, who pleasingly accepts the loving transcendental service of his devotees, gives all protection to the words and actions of his devotees. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 9.31, Kaunteya Prati Janihi. O son of Kunti, please declare it. The Lord asked Arjuna to declare and why. Because sometimes the declaration of Govinda himself may seem contradictory to mundane creatures, but the mundaner will never find any contradiction in the words of the Lord's devotees. The devotees are especially protected by the Lord so that they may remain infallible. Therefore, the process of devotional service always begins in the service of the devotee who appears in disciplic succession. The devotees are always liberated, but that does not mean that they are impersonal. The Lord is a person eternally, and the devotee of the Lord is also a person eternally. Because the devotee has his sense organs even at the liberated stage, he is therefore a person always. And because the devotee's service is accepted by the Lord in full reciprocation, the Lord is also a person in his complete spiritual embodiment. The devotee's senses, being engaged in the service of the Lord, never go astray under the attraction of false material enjoyment. The plans of the devotee never go in vain, and all this is due to the faithful attachment of the devotee for the service of the Lord. This is the standard of perfection and liberation. Anyone beginning from Brahmaji down to the human being is at once put on the path of liberation simply by his attachment in great earnestness for the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord. The Lord affirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Mam chayo व्यभिचारिणा भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्येतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. Anyone, therefore, who is earnestly serious in heart and soul about being in intimate touch with the personality of Godhead in the relationship of transcendental loving service will always be infallible in words and action. The reason is that the Supreme Lord is absolute truth, and anything earnestly dovetailed with the absolute truth attains the same transcendental quality. On the other hand, any amount of mental speculation on the strength of material science and knowledge without any bona fide touch with the absolute truth is sure to be a mundane untruth and failure, simply due to not being in touch with the absolute truth. Such godless, unfaithful words and actions, however materially enriched, are never to be trusted. That is the purport of this important verse. A grain of devotion is more valuable than tons of faithlessness. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jayamudiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. You know what a beautiful, beautiful verse by Lord Brahma and a beautiful, beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada. When I first read the translation by Srila Prabhupada, what I understood is Brahma is glorifying the Lord. then I read the puppet, I was looking for something similar in the puppet, but in the puppet, my first impression or what I found is the Srila Prabhupada is glorifying the devotees, which is true. But at the same time, I think he's making more very important point that he's telling about the power of devotion. And the key point in this verse and what Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in the puppet is that Hridaya Autkantya Trita Hari. Hrida means heart. Autkantya Vata means with great enthusiasm, with great zeal. Dhrita word we know from Dhritarashtra, something to hold on tight. You know how we understand the meaning of Dhritarashtra, that Dhritarashtra was holding into the kingdom so tightly that eventually it led to the battle of Kurukshetra. So Dhrita means to hold on tightly. And Harihi means Lord Krishna. So Hrida Autkantya Vata Dhrita Hari means Brahma got hold of Lord Hari in his heart with a great enthusiasm. And because of that, whatever he said has never proved to be false. Because of that, the progress of in his mind was never deterred. And because of his senses were never degraded to the temporary material attachment. So we understand or we know Lord Brahma as a perfect or the first created living being, and he had received the knowledge in his heart through Lord Krishna himself. So just for that comparison purpose also, for in our context, yes, Brahma is a great qualified man, but if we see in comparison with the Lord, and he himself sees in a comparison with the Lord, he sees himself as very insignificant, because Lord is the one who has given all the knowledge to do the entire creation. Srila Jiva Goswami in this regard says that the Supreme Being manifest himself to those who possesses unflinching devotion. And here, from the example of Brahma, we can see that Lord Brahma has glorified the Lord, all his ability to create, all his intelligence to create, he's actually connecting with Krishna. And so basically from this verse, from verse 34 onwards up to verse 39, Lord Brahma glorifies Lord, that all his knowledge, his abilities, everything comes from him only. So, and then as I was saying, because Brahma, if we think of a material creation, Brahma is on the highest level if we compare with ourselves. And so he still comes under the material creation. But despite of that, and because of his great devotion, we will see, and we have heard so many pastimes where he was actually able to take part with or where he was part of Krishna's pastime. And the famous one we all know, Brahma Lila, the entire pastime was basically orchestrated to bring him to the real consciousness, because he was proud, and he was forgetful about his position. Krishna had actually performed this pastime, and at the end of this pastime, he offers wonderful prayer. Why? Because because we know that he is intelligent living being, and his prayers were wonderful. One of them, the famous verse we all know, Tattenu kampano shamikshamano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam ridvagavagubir vidhan namaste jivetayo mukti sadaya juvet mukti pade sadaya bhag. That though my dear Lord, who sincerely wait for you, you bestow a causeless mercy upon them, at the same time while patiently suffering the reaction of his past actions. And they offer the respectful obeisances to their rid, heart, vag, words, and vapu, body. And because of that, they are so surely eligible for liberation, they become a rightful heir. So this is just an example of Brahma's creativity in terms of offering a prayer that was spontaneously coming from his heart. Unlike, I can again put myself, unlike us, memorizing and reciting verses. Then Prabhupada refers, Prabhupada talks about Brahma Samhita in the purport. Now, Brahma Samhita also, the beautiful, beautiful prayers by Lord Brahma, where he glorifies the Lord, in which, in those prayers, he glorifies the Lord, he glorifies his abode here, his creation, his energies, his powers of devotion, and, there's so many things. And all this coming again in Brahma's heart because Krishna is the one who gave the knowledge. So whatever he says, whatever he thinks, is to be accepted as the truth because he is an intimate association of the Lord, and Lord gives the intelligence and he protects his words and his actions. So whatever Brahma says can be accepted as truth. So, and because of this close relationship, there was also one pastime where Lord Brahma could actually be a pastime of an intimate pastime between of Radha and Krishna, where Radha and Krishna, they were once in Bandiravan, and they secretly had marriage, and Brahma got attracted to this, so he could actually attend the marriage. He became a priest. He chanted the Vedas, so he was allowed to be the pastime. So the point I think I'm trying to make, that because of the devotion in his nature, Krishna is reciprocating accordingly. And in one of the prayer that Brahma offers after Brahma Vimohan Lila, he says that, you are very affectionate towards your devotees. And that is the takeaway for us. We all look for love. We all look and long for love, affection. And so Krishna is, because Krishna has everything. What he looks for is also love. Amrendra Prabhu, in one of his classes, he says that, this human life is actually a love story between Krishna and us. Two lovers who are separated for a long time, and their attempt to come together is this life. They write letters to each other. Krishna is writing wonderful letters. What we need to do, we just need to reciprocate. So, what is our devotion? Our devotion is our letter. An expression of that devotion is the envelope. What is the envelope? Is the bead bag that we carry. But when we put our hand in a bead bag and try chant and think of a Krishna, if there is no breath, if there is no devotion, then it is like a sending an empty envelope. So the key point from this verse is Drito Harihi, holding tight onto Krishna, holding tight onto Krishna within our heart. So and because of that, whatever Brahmaji says has never proved to be false, because when Krishna is within your heart, all our actions, thoughts, deeds, words, everything will be in line with what Krishna wants, in line with according to Krishna's instruction. So it is not possible for them to be not true. Same thing, Brahma says that his mind was never deterred. Now, if we think of in perspective of Brahma's life, he is the oldest living being, living for how many million trillion years. So, and the nature of the material world is that as we grow old, our memory become dull, we become disoriented, we find it difficult to focus. But His Grace Devkinandan Prabhu actually nicely said that our sharpness of the mind never goes because we are in connection with Krishna. And we see, and that's what Brahma is confirming here, that we see that some devotees has amazing memories and abilities even in the old age. The recent example is Her Grace Bhagavati Mataji. She was here and His Grace Viraj Krishna Prabhu was glorifying that she was 91-year-old, but at the 91-year-old one, the old age people that I have seen in my life or come across, they become like a vegetable, bedridden, hardly able to, they are just probably just maintaining themselves, that's it. Looking at the Bhagavati Mataji coming, giving a class, giving sharing her experiences with Prabhupada. It's just amazing. Why is that? Because they keep Krishna in their heart closely, tightly. And scriptures examples are there, of course, but when we see a personal example, then it gives us more conviction. His Grace Devkinandan Prabhu was also saying in his class that, when we catch hold of his lotus feet or the lotus feet of the Lord, we get the mood of Brahmaji. And that is the secret of approaching Krishna. The secret of approaching Krishna is to glorify them. Brahma, if we read this prayer, Brahma doesn't say that, okay, somehow or other, let me be engaged in your service. Brahma starts his prayer by glorifying him. So that is the secret. That is the secret to really approach Krishna, is to glorify Krishna. And Krishna means, of course, Krishna, but that extends to his devotees also. So then question might come that, okay, what do we mean by devotees? Or are they pure devotees? The answer is yes, they are pure devotees. So then who are pure devotees? Who should we glorify? And His Grace, His Holiness Mahavishnu Prabhu answers to that question, saying that except our very own self, everyone else is pure devotee. So if we have the mood of a loving service, a loving devotional service, then the appreciation of other devotees will come automatically. It becomes natural to us. The offending mentality automatically goes away. If we really appreciate someone as a greater than us, then it's a natural instinctive thing that we are ready to execute anything that is we are told of. And for that purpose, one thing needs to be done is mind needs to be properly guided. Srila Prabhupada in purport of Bhagavatam 5.11.17 quotes His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and he says that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that to control the mind, one should beat it with the shoes many times, just as after awakening again and before going to sleep. Now, this sentence sounds very harsh. Beating someone with the shoes is a painful, disrespectful activity. But the mind is, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, is turbulent. Is chanchala manahi Krishna, is turbulent, he jiddi. So sometimes he needs such treatment. This instruction is so this is the way to control the mind, and this instruction is for all of, if one is unable to do such, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that if one does not do so, one is doomed to follow the distraction of mind. One is doomed. Doomed means you are down, ab doob gaye. One is doomed to follow the dictations of mind. So we have to keep telling our mind that I am not the doer. Otherwise, mind will always counteract the mood of the devotee, because mind wants to be the enjoyer, the owner, the proprietor. So we have always have to keep reminding the mind to counteract the mood of a service. And this is why Brahmaji, to purify himself before he starts the prayer, he glorifies Krishna. And that's very, very nice takeaway point for us also, that any activity we have, so all of us, we have many abilities and we perform many services. But at the end of the service, if a particular service is done very nicely, if we are glorified, then it is very easy to feel attached to it. It is very easy to fall prey towards the glory of the service. Oh, I have this ability, and I could do this service very nicely. No, the ability to perform service comes from Krishna. Ability to remember Krishna is also comes from Krishna. And if Brahmaji with a great extent of ability says that, then who are we? Our abilities and intelligence are very minute in comparison to him. And then at the end, Srila Prabhupada makes one very profound statement that even a small amount of a devotion is more valuable than the vast material knowledge without devotion. I'll repeat the sentence. Even a small amount of devotion is more valuable than vast material knowledge without devotion. So two things here that I thought of. The first, small amount of devotion. And the second thing, the vast material knowledge without devotion. So the small amount, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, neha vikramanasho vasti pratyavayam vidyate swalpamasya dharmasya trayate mahiyo bhayat. It basically, he says that even a small endeavor taken in bhakti is never lost and it is always protected. So small amount of devotion, because it is always protected, and whenever there is an opportunity, whenever there is an inclination, there is always an opportunity to come back to it, connect it, and grow it further. And another point that I could understand from the sentence is the material knowledge, vast material knowledge without devotion. Now, in that regard, there is a verse in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, chapter 5, text 12, where the meaning of the verse is, the knowledge of a self-realization, even though free from material affinity, does not look well if devoid of conception from unfallible God. I repeat that is the purpose. The sentence, the translation goes more on, but I think the emphasis was on this sentence, that knowledge of a self-realization, even though free from the material affinity, does not look well if devoid of conception of the infallible God. So even the pure knowledge does not shine without the devotion. So little knowledge can take you long, and with the devotion, little devotion can take you long. It is never lost, and even if it's in a purest form, even if you have the vast of the knowledge, but it must have the devotion factor to it. And why is that? Because knowledge is information about the truth, while bhakti is connection with the truth. And when I was preparing for the class and I was thinking for a real life example, we all are so much connected with our phones. We use our phone for so many things: make a call, text, watch something, read something, save different types of information. But after the multiple usage of the phone during the day, we always remember to charge at the end of the night. And because of that charging functionality, we can use the same phone next day. The same principle applies to it. We perform so many tasks, material, spiritual, but we need to remember to charge ourselves also. And that charging comes from connecting with Krishna. We need to remember to connect with Krishna. What is that charging? That charging is our sadhana. The charging is our chanting. The charging is attentively listening and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te, that Krishna gives the intelligence, and because of which we can go to him. So I have a few more things to say. I'll just try to share the concise version of it. And this is the principle, but it is practicable. We see people practicing in life, we can put into practice. And then there are so many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Many of us know Ajamil. Ajamil did not practice any did not have any spiritual practices throughout the life, but at the end, he could remember Lord Narayan and he was saved from Yamduta. So that means he was given a second chance to perform bhakti. Gajendra, he was very powerful, materially opulent, very strong king, but he could not fight in the water because the environment was not congenial to him. So the strength of 1,000 years could not save him, but at the end, when he remembers Krishna, surrender actually saved him. And the very beautiful example of a Shabri. Shabri was the simplest forest devotee. She had no scholarship. She was simple. What she did is actually she offered berries which was even half eaten by herself, and the Lord accepts. So he tastes devotion, not the taste of the offering. He sees the devotion in it. And another example that I was thinking is four Kumaras. When four Kumara, we all know they were very knowledgeable. They were Gyanis. But when they smell the tulsi offered at the feet of Vishnu, they become attracted to Krishna. So even a perfected knowledge is incomplete without the devotion. So there are so many examples like that. There are much more that we can discuss. But I think the crux is the devotion, and our activities to remain connected with the Krishna is the crux of this verse. We are 1 minute over 7 o'clock. I would stop here. If anyone has any question or would like to share anything, please feel free to share.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Just a reflection. When I was out doing my japa walk this morning, I was thinking of our relationship with Krishna and how it's eternal, and just how amazing that is. You know, eternity. It's been forever for all of the jivas, and when you compare that, like you were talking before about relationships and love, and everyone's looking for love, and I was thinking, you know, how we celebrate someone who's having their 50th wedding anniversary or even their 25th. And just how important people place on the length of a relationship in material life, and how they celebrate it so much. But you know, just the comparison of 25 years, 50 years, whatever, with eternity is quite amazing. So I just wanted to share that reflection. Thank you for a lovely class.
No, thank you so much for sharing that. I share my realization as well. Yesterday, while I was performing Tulsi Aarti at the home, and the thought that came in my mind that it's not that we have to pray Krishna, but at the same time, you know, we are given so many ways to perform our devotional service. We worship Tulsi Devi, we worship Gurudev, we worship Srila Prabhupada, and everything one or other way connects us to Krishna. What we need to see, what we need to be aware of is just we need to be, you know, conscious. We need to be conscious of those things in our lives. And once we are conscious, the feeling of gratitude or desire to be in that connection comes automatically. And then because of the desire is there, the actions automatically follows. So thank you for sharing that, Prabhu. Does anyone want to share anything? Okay, we conclude our discussion here today. Krishna willing, we all see you again tomorrow for our glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji,
Hare
for the
Krishna.
wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.